All right. So here we are, part 3 of Learn Recursion by building a decimal to binary converter. Now we're on to step 73. So let's knock this out. So now everything should work as expected. Pardon me. And since we know that input will either be numbers 0 through 1, be the number 0 through 1 at this point, we can combine our two base cases and just return input as a string, okay? For a reliable way to convert a value into a string, even falsy values like null and undefined, we can use the string constructor function, for example. String constructor function. Anyway, let's go over here and do a string constructor JavaScript. And basically, it's just a string constructor that constructs a string. Okay. So yeah, we can do new string and then put whatever we want in there, or just string. And it can do anything. We can honestly do anything in there, like num. We can do null. Like if num equals 5, it would come out string 5. We could do null, a falsy value, pretty much anything, and it would even make a string. I bet. Hold on, let's do a console.log down here. Let's do it right here in console.log string like this. Let's see if it just makes a empty string. Nope. Maybe let's see, new string. Okay, it makes an object. Not cool. Okay, so I guess you have to have something in there. So how about this? Nope, nothing. So I guess you have to have something, but whatever. Anyway, so let's keep going. So we're going to combine our if and else if statements into a single if statement, checking if input is equal to 0 or 1. If it is, we'll use this string function to convert input into a string and return it. All right. So let's do that. Combine the if and else if into a single if, checking if input is equal to 0 or 1. So let's say, or input, whoa, that's not it. You boit input triple equals 1. And then let's get rid of this 1. Let's get rid of this. And then put return string input. Let's get rid of this too. Return the string constructor with input. All right. And that should be what they want. So let's check the code. Looks good, and submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 74. So now our decimal to binary function is complete. We can feel free to test it out. All right. Let's put 6, 5, whatever. 4, we got a 1 in the 5's place and a 1 in the 1's, pardon me, a 1 in the 4's place and a 1 in the 1's place. That equals 5. All right, great. So if we're still confused about how it works under the hood, don't worry. Next, we're going to create a simple animation to help us understand what's happening each step of the way. It's great. We'll see it. You'll see. So we're going to create a new function called show animation, and we'll leave the body of the function empty for now. All right, cool. So we'll say const show animation like that. And we'll leave, we'll say equals an empty parameter thing. And then we'll have this like that. The curly braces like that. Check the code, looks good, and submit it. All right, now we're on to step 75. So we'll show the animation when users try to convert the decimal number 5 to binary. So we'll need to add a check for that within our check user input function. So we'll use an if statement to check if the value attribute of number input is equal to the number 5, right? And we'll remember to use the parseInt function to convert the string into a number before comparing it to 5. And we'll leave the if statement empty for now. All right. So yeah, let's do an if, and inside here we'll say number input dot value triple equals parseInt parse int 5 like that. And then let's say it's going to do something. So basically, whenever we have the number 5 right here, or 5.1 or whatever, and convert it, it's going to do something. All right. Let's check the code. No, come on now. We should use the parse int function within the condition. Is this not what we did? Huh? Parse int 5. Is that not what we just did? Parse int input. Are we inside of this thing? Okay. Oh, okay. Watch this. Watch. Let's wrap this thing up in parentheses and say in front of this parse int, and then it needs to equal 5. Okay, that makes more sense anyways. Let's check it. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 76. 76. How come it just did the thing, though? Is that right? 76. Oh, we were just done with 75. That's what it was. Okay, my bad. Because 60 plus 15 is 75, right? And so that's a multiple of 3. Let's do this. Anyway, I'll stop confusing you. If the value of number input is equal to 5, we'll call the show animation function and then return early. All right. So if, we're going to do the show animation. Okay. So show animation. We're inside of the if statement, by the way. And then we'll also return early. We'll say return like that. So let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 77. So now our show animation function is set up. But if we look closely at our check user input function, we'll notice that it's not very dry. Don't repeat yourself, right? We're calling... I don't know. I don't think we went over don't repeat yourself, though, at all. I think this is something we went over in the legacy course, but whatever. Anyway, so we're calling parse int to convert number input dot value into a number several times. Are we? Yes, we're doing this a bunch of times. Okay, yeah. So a simple way to fix this is to create a new variable to store the converted number. Then we only have to convert the number once, and we can use it throughout the function. We're going to create a new variable called input int and assign it the number converted from number input.value. Okay. So we'll do that. We'll say const input int equals. We'll do parse int, and inside here we'll put number input dot value. All right. Let's cap that off with a semicolon. Check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 78. So now we're going to replace all instances of parse int number input dot value with input int. All right. So let's double click input int, copy that, and we'll replace all those. So let's highlight this one right here, just the one parenthesis, the one closing parenthesis. Drop that like that. We'll do that here too. We'll do that here. Wait, do we need to do parse int? Okay, so this isn't parse int. So only if it has parse int involved with it. Let's do that. Let's do this one as well. And now let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 79. So now that our show animation function is set up, we're going to do some testing. We'll add 3 console.log statements in the show animation function to log the text freeCodeCamp, freecode and camp to the console. We should see that the text in the console, when we enter 5 into the number input and click the convert button. Okay. So yeah, let's do console.log. We'll do the first one free, and we'll cap that off with a semicolon. We'll do an Alt Shift down, down, and then we'll change the second free to code. The third one will turn into camp. All right. So let's click 5 and press enter. Open up the console. freeCodeCamp. Okay, it works. So let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right, now on to step 80. So before we start writing code for the animation, we're going to take a look at the function we'll use to add and remove elements from the DOM. Set timeout, okay? So the set timeout function takes 2 arguments, a callback function and a number representing the time in milliseconds to wait before executing the callback function, okay? Let's go look at this before we do this. Set timeout. This one. All right. So the global set timeout function, method sets a timer which executes a function or specified piece of code once the timer expires. Okay. So here's the parameters. We've got, here's the syntax. We've got code and delay, a function reference and a delay, parameter 1, parameter 2, and parameters up to the moon. All right. I don't know if we're going to be using multiple parameters, but we'll see. All right. So for example, if we wanted to log hello world to the console after 3 seconds, we would write set timeout, and then we would have this function right here, okay, as the first argument, which is logging console.log, and then also we have 3000 milliseconds, okay? So we'll use the set timeout function to add a 1 second delay before the text code is logged to the console. Then we're going to see what happens after we enter 5 into the number input and click the convert button. Okay. So let's do just that. Let's get rid of this to start off with because this is a little confusing. And let's start with the set timeout method. Okay. And then the first argument is going to be this callback function. And inside the callback function, we're going to do a console.log. I don't even think we need we'll just do console.log right here. Console.log. And what was it? Code like this. All right. And let's get rid of this curly brace. All right. And then for the second argument, we'll do 5 seconds. How much? 1 second? 1000. Okay. And now let's hit 5 like this. Convert. Okay. It didn't do anything. Did it not work? Yeah. Oh, I guess we have to do it inside of the curly braces. So let's do that. Let's wrap this thing in curly braces. Oh, no. I didn't do it right. That's the thing. Comma outside of this parenthesis and then 1000. Like that. So let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now on to step 81. So if we test our code, we'll notice that the console logs are not in the expected order. Yeah. So if we say 5 enter and look in the console, it says free camp and then code afterwards. Let's do it one more time. Yeah. So free camp and then a second later code shows up. Instead of logging free, pausing for a second before logging code, and finally logging camp, we'll see this. Free camp code. And this is because the set timeout function is asynchronous, meaning that it doesn't stop the execution of the rest of our code. All the code in the show animation function runs line by line, but because set timeout is asynchronous, free and camp are logged to the console immediately. And then code is logged to the console after a 1 second delay. Yeah, that's what we got out of that. So one way to fix this is to use multiple set timeout functions. We'll use set timeout to log free to the console after half a second or 500 milliseconds. All right. So let's do the same thing we did here to this one. All right. So let's just take 17 to all of 15, copy that, And let's drop it off under 14 like this, on to 15. Bring this one back 1. And actually, we don't even need to do that. Let's just highlight this and drop it off like that. Okay. And then let's change this to free. Let's change this 10 to a 5 right there. So let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. Hey, sorry I didn't look at your chat until just now. And you're not even in the room no more, but whatever. Hey, yeah, thank you for if you see this later, thanks for watching. All right, so let's do this. We're now on 82. Give me a second. Cold espresso. Yum, yum. Ugh. So while asynchronous or async code can be difficult to understand at first, it has many advantages. One of the most important is that it allows us to write non-blocking code. For example, imagine we're baking a cake and we put the cake in the oven and set a timer. We don't have to sit in front of the oven waiting the entire time. Of course not. We can wash dishes, read a book, or do anything else while we wait for the timer to go off. There we go. Yeah, I mean, that's how cooking goes anyways. So async code works in a similar way. We can start an async operation and other parts of the code will still work while that operation is running. We'll learn more about async code in future projects, but the set timeout function is a good introduction, right? So we're going to add a 1500 millisecond delay before the text camp is logged to the console. Okay. So we still have this one in our clipboard. So let's just take this, drop it, change this code to camp, capital camp, and change this 10 to 15 like that. Now let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 83. So now we're ready to start on the animation itself. We'll use an array of objects to store data for each frame of the animation. There we go. First, we're going to create a new variable called animation data and assign it an empty array. Okay, so we'll do const animation data, and we'll assign it an empty array. So we'll do the brackets thusly and cap it off with a semicolon. Check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 84. So next we'll create an object to represent the first frame of our animation. Our object should have 3 properties or keys: input val, margin top, and add L delay for element. And L is for element. All right. So we'll say we'll have input value represent the value of the input each time our recursive function runs. Margin top will be the top margin for DOM elements that we'll add to the page, and add delay will be the delay between adding DOM elements to the page. All right. What else do we got? We're going to add an object to animation data with an input val property set to 5, margin top property set to 300, and an add delay property set to 1000. Okay, so we're inside of this animation delay. There's a thing called array, and we're going to make an object. Okay, so we'll make this object, and we'll start with an input val property set to 5, comma. Then we'll have a margin top set to 300. Then we'll do an add L delay and set that to 1000. Okay. And that should be what they want. Let's check the code. Looks good, and submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 85. Give me just a second. I'm going to adjust the room tone because I don't know if it's loud enough. Just a second. Feel free to fast forward if you don't want to watch this. I wouldn't. But anyway, I wouldn't want to watch it. Anyway, so let's do Codeman S. Boom. Practice videos. And I'll open that in just a second. What are we doing? Room tone. We'll do a filter. Add a filter. No. Add audio filter. A compressor. Sure. And then let's do the output gain. Let's raise the output gain by 3 decibels. That should be good. Close it. Blah, blah, blah. Test. Compressor? Sure. And then let's do the output gain. Let's raise the output gain by 3 decibels. That should be good. Close it. Blah, blah, blah. Test. I don't know. I think maybe a few decibels lower, but I can drop the decibels right here. Let's just maybe 1 decibel lower. Let's drop it by 1 decibel. Test. Close it. Blah, blah, blah. Test. I don't know. I think maybe a few decibels lower, but I can drop the decibels right here. Let's just maybe 1 decibel lower. Let's drop it by 1 decibel. Test. I'm going to add 0.5 decibel. There we go. Maybe that'll be good. But I can drop the decibels right here. Let's just maybe 1 decibel lower. Let's drop it by 1 decibel. I'm going to add 0.5 decibel. There we go. Maybe that'll be good. Yeah, I like that. All right, great. So let's get back to it. Stupid stream. Anyway, let's get back to it. So here we go. We're on step 85. We're gonna recall that the call stack is a LIFO, last in and first out, data structure. This means that as functions are called, they are added to the top or end of the stack. And as functions return, they are removed from the top of the stack. Okay, we learned that previously. We're going to treat our animation delay array as a stack and add a new object to it. Our new object should have the properties input val margin top and add delay set to 2, -200, and 1500 respectively. And we're going to remember to add this object to the top of the stack, or in other words, to the end of the animation data array. Okay. So let's select this, all this right here, copy it. Let's add a, what is that thing called? A comma right there, and drop it off like that. And now let's change it to 2, -200, and 1500 right here. All right, and that should be it. Let's check the code. Looks good, and submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 86. So now we're going to add another object to the animation data array. Our new object should have the properties input val, margin top, and add L delay set to 1, -200, and 2000 respectively. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. All right. So let's take 14 to 9. Let's do it Alt. Let's do it Alt Shift down. Does that look good? No. Let's get this one. Let's do it like this. And now let's from 14 to 10, Alt Shift down. Okay, that looks better. All right, so we're going to set it to 1. -200 is fine. We'll change this 1500 to 2000. All right. And that should be good. Let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 87. So now we're going to start building the animation itself. First, we're going to use the document.getElementById method to select the element with the ID animation container and assign it to a variable called animation container. All right. So we'll do const animation container. And we're going to have that equal document.getElementById. And we'll be looking for animation hyphen container. All right. Let's cap that off with a semicolon. Check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 88. All right. Give me a second. Yuck. Okay. So next we're going to clear out our show animation function by removing all of our set timeout calls. Oh, okay. See ya. There we go. Check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on step 89. So now we'll start building the animation itself. First, we're going to set the inner text property of the result, to call stack animation. Okay. So we'll say result dot inner text now equals the string call stack animation, like that. Let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 90. So next we're going to use the for each method to loop through the animation data array. For the for each method's callback function, we're going to pass in obj as the parameter, but we'll leave the body of the callback function empty for now. Okay. So yeah, let's do animation data dot for each, and we're going to pass in obj as the parameter and leave the body of the callback empty for now. All right. So we'll do it just like this. Let's cap that off with a semicolon. Check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 91. So since we have the timing for each frame of animation stored in addLDelay, we can use that value with the set timeout method to set up the delay to add elements to the DOM. All right. Within the body of the for each method's callback function, we'll add a set timeout function. We'll pass in an empty callback function as the first argument and obj.addLDelay as the second argument. Okay. So within the body of this thing right here, we're going to start off by having set timeout right there. And for the first argument, we'll do an empty callback function. So we'll have this empty set of parentheses, the arrow, and also the code body like that, the empty code body. And then we'll have comma, and we'll be accessing object.addDelay. All right. So since it's for each, it's going to be going through this thing right here. And it'll use this add delay first, and then on the next one, this add delay, and then this one. All right. So add L delay, my bad. L delay. There we go. Check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 92. So now we're going to use the compound assignment operator, the plus equals, to set the inner HTML property of the animation container to an empty template literal string. Gotcha. All right, so let's do animation container dot inner HTML. Now, oh no, we're going to plus equals an empty string like this. Let's cap that off with a semicolon. Check the code. Oh, come on now. We should use the comment. Is that not a plus equals? Animation container dot inner HTML. Did I not do that right? Empty template literal. Okay, let's put the backticks instead, like that. All right, so let's check the code. Looks good, and submit it. Pardon me. All right, now we're on to step 93. Yeah, so every time I mess up a little bit, I lose whoever's viewing. I lose them. I lose you guys. But whatever, it is what it is. I'm going to try to do better. Within the template literal, we're going to add a paragraph. Yeah, because like right after I messed up, 20 seconds later, it was, see ya. Whatever. So within the template literal, we're going to add a paragraph element with the ID attribute equal to an empty string. Okay. We'll add the empty paragraph. Okay, so let's do the p tag close P. And we'll give it the ID attribute set to an empty string, right? So ID equals empty string like that. So let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right, now on to step 94. So next we're going to use string interpolation to set the ID attribute to the input val property of the current object obj. All right. So string interpolation, they're talking about the embedded expressions as usual. So let's do that. The ID property will do string interpolation, or the embedded expression, and we'll put obj dot input val. All right, so that's talking about these right here. So like 5, 2, 1, whatever. All right, so let's check the code. Looks good, and submit it. All right, now we're on to step 95. Input val 1, input val 2, input val 5. What? Anyway, what? I don't understand what's going on there. So now we're going to add a top margin to the paragraph element. We'll add a style attribute to the paragraph element and use string interpolation to set the value to margin top. This current margin top, this one gave me such a hard time when I did this the first time. Oh my God, this one made me go crazy. All right, so we're going to use the embedded expression to set the value to margin top. We'll have an embedded expression with the current margin top, which is going to be it's going to be obj.margin top. So it's going to be this thing right here. We're going to be accessing this. Oh, I went crazy on this one because it took me so long to figure out what they were saying. All right. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We'll add a style attribute to this and do that. So style equals, and then we're going to have the, we're going to say margin top, margin hyphen top, and then we're going to do an embedded expression like this. And inside here, we'll do obj dot margin top like that. Anyway, let's check the code. Come on. PX. Don't forget the PX after the embedded expression. Yeah. See right there? Yeah. PX with a semicolon. Okay. Because, I mean, this is basically just the same as some CSS. So it's got to look like this. Let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 96. So we're going to add a class attribute set to animation frame. That's easy enough. So after this quote, we'll do class equals, and we'll say animate. Whoa. Inside of these quotes, we'll say animation hyphen frame. All right. So there's that. Let's check the code. Looks good, and submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 97. All right. So here, let's do this. I'm trying to move around the control panel. All right. So finally, we're going to use string interpolation, or the embedded expression, to set the text of the paragraph element to decimal to binary. And then for the argument, we'll have the embedded expression with current val in there, where cur val is the input property of the current object. So obj.input val. After this, we're going to test out our code by entering the number 5 into the number input and clicking the convert button. All right. So yeah, let's do that. Move this over. So we will say, set the text of the, okay, so we're in the middle of this right now, in the middle of the P tag right now. And we'll set it to decimal to binary, and we'll give it the embedded expression. Oh, that's not it. We'll give it we'll give the argument the embedded expression with obj.input val, and that's going to target these right here, right? So it'll say like 1, 2, 5, whatever. And that should be it. After this, we're going to test out our code by entering number 5 into the input and clicking convert. So we'll say 5, enter, call stack animation, doot. That's good for now, I guess. Check the code. Looks good, and submit it. All right, now we're on to step 98. Pardon me. So now it's time to set up for the next phase of the animation, where we'll update and remove the paragraphs we have pinned to the DOM during the animation. All right. We're going to add the property MSG to the animation object at the top of the stack and set its value to an empty string. So top of the stack means bottom of the list. So let's do that. We're going to add the MSG property, and set its value to an empty string like this. All right, so let's check the code. Looks good, and submit it. All right, now on to step 99. So we'll set the value of the message property to the following string. So all this decimal to binary 1 returns 1 base case and gives that value to the stack below. Then it pops off the stack. Okay, well, we're just going to copy this with Control-C, even though I usually don't copy, and drop it like this because I just do not feel like typing that. And then let's wrap this whole thing, since it's a string, let's wrap it. Actually, let's take these two double quotes and turn them into single quotes. We'll need to escape them with a backslash or use single quotes. Yeah, so there we go. Check the code, looks good, and submit it. All right, now we're on to step 100. So next we're going to add the property show message delay with the value 5,000 and remove L delay with the value 10,000. Okay, so we'll do comma and we'll say show MSG delay now equals 5 grand, and then we'll do remove L delay to 10 grand like that. Let's check the code. Looks good, and submit it. All right, now we're on to step 101. So for the object in the middle of the stack, we're going to add the property MSG set to the following string. So we're going to do another string like this. Decimal to binary 2 returns the string 1 plus 0 to what? 2 remainder operator 2 and gives that value to the stack below. Then it pops off the stack. What? 1 plus 0. What is this? Anyway, whatever. Let's get this. Let's copy it. And then let's, since it's got double quotes in this one too, let's say MSG. Let's do comma. No. That's a period. Let's do comma. MSG, MST, MSG. And then we'll say single quote and drop it like that. And that should be good. Let's check the code. Come on. What? Oh, and then we got to do the other two things. Show message delay. Let's take these. Copy it. Drop it like this. And what are we changing them to? 10,000, 15,000. So 10,000. 10,000. And then we'll turn the 0 into a 5 right here. Let's check the code. Come on. Oh, comma. Check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 102. So for the last animation object, we're going to add the property MSG set to the following string. Okay, so we'll do the same thing we did, but change up some stuff, all right? So let's just take these three from 17 to 14, copy them, drop them off at the end of, oh, actually, let's make sure to get this comma right here on 14. Copy that, drop it off at the end of 9. And then let's copy this string, trade this string out for this string, for that string, whatever. You know what I'm saying. 1,500, right? 15,000, I should say. And then this one will change into 20,000. And let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now on to step 103. We got 6 left. So for the next, or 7, including this one. So for the next phase of the animation, we'll update the paragraphs with the message text. Since we have the delays for each step of the animation already, we can add our code to the same for each loop. We'll add another set timeout function and pass in an empty callback function as the first argument, and pass in the show message delay property of the current object as the second argument. Okay. So we're going to do another set timeout. Empty callback function. So we'll have the parentheses, and then we'll have the equals. No, we'll have the arrow, and then the empty object, and then we'll have the comma, and then show. We'll do obj.show msg delay like that. So now let's check the code. Looks good, and submit it. All right. Now we're on to step 104. So we use the input val property as the ID attribute for our paragraph elements. Now we can target those paragraph elements with those IDs. So we'll use the getElementById method to select the element with the ID attribute with the value of input val property of the input val property of the current object. All right. So we'll do input val dot ID. No. We'll do document dot get element by ID, and we'll do the string input val dot ID, right? And so this is going to be targeting what? Oh, it's going to be obj.inputVal. No way. What? Hold on. We're going to use this method to select the element with the ID attribute of the value of. Should we do an? Let's do an embedded expression. And inside of here, no, but we're not inside of a. That's not right. Animation data dot input val? No. We use the input val property as the ID attribute for our paragraph elements. Now we can target those. Now we can target those the paragraph. What? Those the par. Now we can target the paragraph elements with those IDs. Okay. We'll use the getElementById method to select the element with the ID attribute with the value of the input val property of the current object. So obj dot input val. That can't be right. That's what I thought. That can't be right. Oh, let's get rid of the quotes. Okay, there we go. How confusing. Well, let's cap this off with a semicolon just cuz. Or not, whatever. And submit it. All right, now we're on to step 105. So now that we've targeted the correct element, we can update its text after the delay we specified earlier. So using the getElementById method, we're going to set the text content property of the targeted element equal to the message property of the current object. Oh my god. All right. So let's just put the cursor on 53. Let's do a Alt Shift down like that. And we're going to set the text content property. So of the message. What? Oh, no, 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 no. We're going to do msg.textContent equals this. So msg.textContent equals this stuff right here. Did we really need an extra step for this? Is that not even right? Okay. What the? Using the getElementById method, we're going to set the text content property of the targeted element equal to the message property of the current object. So obj.message equals this. Obj.message.textContent. Obj.message.textContent. Okay, what the hell? Using the getElementId method, we'll set the text content property, okay, this, of the targeted element, obj.textContent equal to the message property of the current object. What the? Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's reset the whole lesson. Are we going to the next line? I'm about to go crazy, I swear. Oh my God, I'm about to go crazy. Using this, set the text content property of the targeted element equal to the equals. That can't be right. Dot text content? That can't be right. Equals obj.msg. Oh my. Oh, I just want to. It's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. Why can't you just make it like a lesson? You know what I'm saying? Like having to figure this out. Why? Why did you make us do this? Whatever. It's free, right? You get what you pay for. If it was paid for, we could say, give me my money back, but we can't just say, give me my time back. Whatever. All right. Now we're on to step 106. Next, we're going to remove the paragraph elements from the show animation ID element after the delays we specified earlier. What kind of sentence is that? Next, we're going to remove the paragraph elements from the show animation ID element after the delays we specified earlier. We'll add a set timeout function to our for each loop. Okay, we're in the for each. We'll pass in an empty callback function as the first argument and pass in the remove delay property of the current object as the second argument. All right. So let's do that. Set timeout. All right. For the first, we're going to do an empty callback function. Empty callback. All right. And for the second argument, we'll do remove delay, which is this. Okay. Obj.remove delay. All right. So let's do that. Obj.that. Check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Now on to step 107. So now we're going to use the getElementById method to target the element with the ID attribute with the value of the input val property of the current object. Then we'll use the remove method on that element to remove it from the DOM after the delay. All right. So we're going to use the getElementById. So document document dot get element by ID to target the element with the ID attribute of the input val property of the current object. So obj dot input val, and then we're going to do dot remove like this. Check the code, looks good, and submit it. All right, now we're on to step 108. So now our animation is complete. When we enter 5 over here, we can see this whole mishmash. Oh, great. Now we got to read something. Uh-huh. All right. Let's undo that and put 1. All right, good. Is it going to keep going anyway? Hopefully not. All right, cool. So when we enter 5 in the number and click convert button, the animation will add paragraphs to the DOM, update the text of each paragraph, and then remove the paragraphs from the DOM. The last thing we need to do is add the result of converting the number 5 into binary to the page once the animation is complete. After the for each method, we'll add another set timeout function. We'll pass in an empty callback function as the first argument and a delay of 20,000 milliseconds as the second argument. Yeah, we'll be getting to it. It'll be sometime tonight, though. It'll be after dark. I got to get some business done first. So what else are we doing? So we're going to do this stuff. So we're going to add another set timeout function. We'll do set timeout. And inside of here, we'll pass an empty callback function. And this here. All right. And then for the second argument, we'll do 20,000. Like that. And that should be it. Let's check the code. Looks good. And submit it. All right. Last one. So finally, we're going to set the text content property of result equal to calling decimal to binary with 5 as an argument. Okay. After this, we'll test out our code by entering a number 5 into the thing, and then it should do what we're doing. And then look at that, we're done. Great. All right, so finally, we'll set the text content property of result. Result.text content now equals decimal to binary, like that, with 5 as the argument. And that should be it. Let's put 5 in there. This, it's going to take 20 seconds, 3, 4. Okay, let's try it again. Convert. No, it's not going to do it. What is going on? Let's do it again. And again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Is that a bug? Check the code, looks good. And submit it. All right, so that's the end of that. That one, which one was it? That was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. 105. Was this the one? Anyway, just because of 105, I give this as 1 star because I should not stress. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow we're going to be doing the Roman new. What? Didn't we? Oh, I already did this. Okay, cool. So tomorrow we're going to start with building a spam filter. No, I've already done that too. Oh yeah, I'm re-recording this. Oh, okay, cool. So tomorrow we're going to go over this one. Learn advanced methods by building a statistics calculator. We'll do this in a 2-part. And then maybe we'll do this one. No, we'll do this one Friday. No, tomorrow's Friday. We'll do this one on Sunday. Anyway, so there's all that. That's the end of that. And we'll see you next time.